Welcome. First things first, Shapiro tribe getting your first look at the new Zaboga tribe. Jerry voted out at last night's tribal council. In addition, Zaboga tribe getting your first look at the new Shapiro tribe. Kelly voted out at last night's tribal council. Alright, drop your buds. We are merging. Some serious bombshells must have been dropped if two winners are now gone before we even got into the merge. I can only see the season getting more dangerous as the season goes along, so did I make the right decision? Because I'm now going to put perfect faith into the people I worked with last tribal. And it wasn't an easy decision, because I already had an alliance going with Kelly and Nick, and I probably abandoned their trust now, or Nick's trust. Alright, the 11 of you will become the Mogo tribe. You will be represented in the color blue. Here is a map to your new tribe. Head on out. I didn't have as much control as I would have liked in the pre-merge, but if you remember from Season 2, I really didn't have much control in the pre-merge for that season either. The merge is where I really pick up the pace and really just start making moves. Am I going to do that this time? Well, we'll see. I mean, you kind of have to if you want to win, but there's no need for me to do it out of the gate. I've made a couple moves, I've been involved with some stuff. I just need to hang low, especially with the winners now on the chopping block. You know, I need to just hang low, and then if the move comes up, the move comes up. I just need to play smart survivor. Well, this is the new camp. Yeah, it's quite big. Well, first of all, congratulations everybody. It's a shame that Daryl went home. He could have really helped in building a shelter. Well, I mean, I don't want to be the person everyone hates off the bat, but that was me. But I mean, everyone here surely knows how to make a shelter, right? We're all stars after all. It's great to see you again. Yeah, good to see you guys too. So, did you maybe able to get any allies? Well, I may have been able to get Marjorie and Jessica. What about you? Well, we've probably got Rob and Madison on our side, so that's a pretty easy 7, isn't it? We should be clean if that's what it's going to take. 7 people against, well, 4 others. I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be that simple because it could be the threat of an idol, but I like those odds at the moment. Now, I'm no idiot. I know that 7 people chucked into an alliance might not seem like the smartest move, because there's no guarantee that Rob and Madison are going to work with Jessica and Marjorie, or there's no guarantee that Marjorie's going to work with us, or Jessica's going to work with us, or just there's no guarantee that those 7s are going to stick together. However, there's a potential that it could, and if the 7 of us are going to work together, then we potentially have 4 easy votes. Now, everyone says that when an alliance like that comes up, and it never really goes through, and I understand that. However, a 7-person alliance being theorized at the beginning of the merge, especially in a season like All-Stars, that's a pretty good feeling for me. I'm sorry guys, I have to be the one to say it. This is a mess. You're trying to build a big shelter with bamboo and leaves and stuff. It's not going to look pretty, especially because it needs to be big. There's 11 of us. Yeah. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't feel comfortable at all, in the slightest bit. I'm scared because last tribal, there was a massive blindside on Jerry. Now, I'm not against it. I'm all for blindsides and stuff, but that's another tribal council where I haven't been in charge. That's 2 of them I can count. And I don't like that. The biggest problem is that, you know, the people who control that are still here. And with any prediction, they're going to do it again. And I'm probably still considered a big threat and on the chopping block. So if I don't act quickly, my time in this game is numbered. And I don't like that. Well, that was a shock result. Yeah, 2 winners gone now. They seem to be getting bloodlust for winners at the moment, and there's 2 of us. So do we work together? I mean, we kind of tried to do it. It didn't really go anywhere, but we tried to do it. Do we like bring it back up? Look, I think at this rate, it makes sense at the moment. It's early in the merge. 2 winners have just gone out. It just kind of makes sense to settle a little bit. And I can understand that you were jumpy. I'm feeling a bit jumpy because, you know, Jerry's blindside came out of absolutely nowhere. And it could happen, and it probably will happen again. Well, what happened at your one? Well, it was Jim and Lexi managed to flip Rob and Madison. I mean, Rob was always going to do it because Rob had good connections with them. I expect them to do that, but Madison flipping, that shocked me. What about you? Well, it was Jessica, David, and Marjorie. The three of them seemed like they were in a good position. I mean, that's what we narrowed it down to, because it wasn't Howells wasn't Josh at all. Josh had nothing to do with it. He voted for Marjorie. So was any rate that those guys will work together? Potentially those 7 will work together. That means that we need to get on board with Josh and Nick, because basically it's an alliance with no connection at all that we need to bring together in 3 days to be able to take one of those guys out. I mean, we've got to try, because at the moment there's a dangerous 7 for me. At the moment, yeah, me and Georgia feel a little bit worried. However, the thing that separates us from any other player is our ability to read the game. Me and Georgia had a conversation, and quite quickly we figured out that there is a 7-person alliance that potentially could be forming if they do work together. Now, that might be a bit of a stretch, but it's a possibility. And possibilities are, if the possibility isn't good for you, then you've got to make sure that possibility doesn't happen. So me, Georgia, will need to align ourselves with Josh and Nick, which is an alliance with 0 connection at all, and we're going to try and make something happen. So hopefully we can do it. Last try was a really good result. Yeah, I agree. Big blind side on Kelly propels us out into the merge, but are the 4 of us good? Yeah, I mean, at the moment for my game, I think the 4 of you are the 4 of us, I should say, the best thing for me at the moment. Yeah, I want to work with you guys. I really like the 3 of you, and I think it could be good for our game. We also have David from our original Saboga days, which could be a good 5. He does have a small connection with Marjorie and Jessica, but you know, that might not go very far. I do actually have a connection with Jessica, but I don't know much about Marjorie. So we could have a 6, which would be a majority. Yeah, that works. I mean, good start, right? This merge is either going to be really easy or really challenging. At the moment, my position in the game is pretty good. I'm in a solid 4-person alliance, and as a strong person, I hopefully can win some immunity challenges to get me deep into this game. And obviously I want to win this game, because it's just, yeah, like I've said a million times, it's been tough for me, and all of a sudden this game is just starting to click, you know? It took a while, but it's clicking now. Look, I know it was primarily only 1 vote, but are the 3 of us still good? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have no reason why I can't really work with you guys. I know that I'm going to have a target on my back now because of, well, last tribal, but as long as, you know, me, David and Marjorie are going to work together, and then maybe we can build something from that, then, you know, I should be alright, and I can continue trying to make big moves, and until I get to the end and hopefully win the $1 million. Look guys, we're not 100% sure, but me and Georgia have a feeling that those other 7 will work together. I mean, I can see what you mean. I mean, Marjorie, David and Jessica work together to take out Jerry, and there's any possibility that those 3 work with the other 4. That's what we think. So the 4 of us, even though we're like dysfunctional as hell, we need to work together here, because otherwise we could be going out back to back to back, and I don't like that idea. So I'm into the merge, and I'm in the minority, and that's not a good feeling. I do have my strength to back me up, but this group of 11 is so much stronger than the group of 11 from Patagonia. I mean, you've got Rob and Jessica here. I mean, like Josh and David, and even at times Jim can even pick up their game, and you've got Lexi as well. Don't underestimate her at all. So there's strong people here, so I can't rely on my physical strength here. I was a little disappointed by Madison betraying me. However, I know that connection is still there, and I know that at the moment I just need to build my connections, because if this plan of the 4 of us goes nowhere, which it possibly will, the only thing that will keep me around is either the necklace or my connections. So Madison, I just let you know that I don't hold a grudge about what happened last night. Oh, thank you, Nick. I was a little bit worried, but it's good to hear that you don't hold a grudge. Can I ask you why? Well, I understand that it was a move that possibly, in your opinion, needed to be made. I mean, you're not out here forcing people's opinions. You can only just give them advice on how you think they should play. At the end of the day, you don't control anybody. So just say, I knew it was part of the game and I don't want that move to tarnish our relationship. So Nick is worried because, well, look at it. He is kind of come into the merge as a physical threat, and he knows that. And he's also not part of the theorized 7-person alliance, which I don't know if he knows about it yet, but he possibly could. And he knows that if he doesn't act quickly, his days are possibly numbered. Unfortunately for him, if it comes down to it tonight that we have to vote for him, I'd much rather probably stick with this 7-person alliance. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but this, at the moment, the theorized 7-person alliance to me sounds like a pretty sweet deal, especially this early on in the merge. In a season like All Stars, if you get an easy vote, which is possibly never going to happen, you're just going to take it. So this is like the first official meeting of the theorized 7-person alliance. I judge that you guys know about it. Yeah, David told us about the connections he had with you and the connections you have with other people. Oh, hey Madison. Yeah, this kind of alliance works, Jessica. Looks like we're working together again. Well, we worked pretty well on original Shapira, so this should go really well. So yeah, I'm down for this. Yeah, easy vote to start off with. Do we know who we should target? Not sure yet. I think the easiest choice is just to wait for the first immunity challenge to conclude. In a 7-person alliance, you have so many personalities. I can realistically only trust Jim and David. I can kind of trust Rob and Madison. However, that's a fine line. The reason why I can only trust him is because with so many personalities, there's bound to be some division. I have a feeling we're going to maybe work with each other for one vote and then boom, that might be the end of it, because eventually someone will target somebody that doesn't want to be targeted, that somebody else in the alliance doesn't want to target, then there's going to cause an argument. Or someone is going to get, a bit worried about somebody maybe playing too aggressively inside the alliance, and then the alliance just splits up trying to take out anybody really. So as much as I think it's going to work for one vote, it's sure as hell's not going to work for 4 votes as we are planning to do. Did we work together in New Zealand? I honestly don't remember. It's possibly like 1 or 2 votes in the merge, right? I mean, I suppose it kind of broke up when I was wanting to take out Mike. Speaking of Mike, I think we should take him out tonight, the next tribal, I should say. Why is that? Well, the thing is that he's not really going to win the next immunity challenge if it's strength-based, so we've got a pretty easy hit on him. The reason is because, well, first of all, I don't think he trusts me. He doesn't trust me either. He did want to take me out, but I don't see that as a reason. It's not the sole reason. But he's also very strategic. Like, the merge is where he thrives the most. If you don't, like you can't say that, oh, just because he's having a bad start doesn't mean he's ever going to get better. Because he is going to get better. He just learns and learns. And I think he's going to get into a close relationship with someone like Georgia, and he has the ability to, pull people in with his charm. And I think if he gets through a few rounds in the merge, he's going to be dangerous. Especially because the 7-person alliance probably isn't going to last that long. You make a good point. I mean, I'm down for it. You down for it? Yeah. Me and Mike don't have the best of relationships. Why is that? Past ills, because he voted you out, because he voted me out. I partially think that I lost the game because, well, I didn't. I wanted to take out Mike, but I did it too late. And at that stage, Mike had basically everyone wrapped around his finger. That's why he won the game. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to make the same mistake, and the easiest way to do that is to take him out when the numbers aren't in his favor and when the 7-person alliance that we've formed is unlikely to flip or flop or split up at all. This is probably the only time I see the 7-person alliance truly working together, and I see it as a perfect opportunity to make it be my way and take out Mike. Are you ready to get to your first individual immunity challenge of the season? Yeah! Okay, for today's challenge, each of you have been assigned a block that weighs 15% of your body weight. One by one, you will come behind this line and attempt to throw that block as far as you can. The person who gets the block the furthest will win immunity safe from the vote. Losers tribal council, where somebody will be the 8th person voted out of this game and become the first member of the jury. Alright, I'll give you your blocks and we'll get started. Okay, first up is Madison throwing. Madison throws it and it lands just before me. So far this is the benchmark. For everybody else who goes, the objective is simple. Get past the block and you are in and Madison is eliminated. You get behind it, you are eliminated yourself. Next up is Josh's throw. Oh, this is a much bigger throw. In fact, it gets past me. Therefore, Madison is basically out and Josh is the new leader. Next up, we have Rob. Rob, the objective remains the same. Oh, and further than Josh, Rob is the new leader at the moment. Next up is Marjorie. Marjorie's throw. Hold on, everybody. You have to be careful. I mean, Marjorie, it's not in front, but I must admit that was much bigger than I thought. Where did you get that strength? Secrets. Next up, we have Jessica. Oh, by millimeters, Jessica comes up a little bit short of Rob's block. Rob is still in the lead with, well, 6 people left. Next up, we have David. David's throw. And it's just behind Rob. But David, you are basically out. Next up is Jim. Jim's throw. Oh, it's short as well. This is getting close, but Jim, you didn't surpass Rob, so you are out of this challenge. Next up is Lexi. Lexi also does a really big throw, but it is short as well. Rob is still in the lead. Next up, we have Georgia. Georgia's throw. And it is way short. Rob is still in the lead. Rob is in the lead at the moment with 2 people to go. Mike, you're up next. Mike's throw now. And that is short as well. Well, this is embarrassing. Mike, you were basically out of this challenge. Next up, we have Nick. Nick, don't be afraid to miss. We'll see. I thought I'd do a lot better. Well, Nick, I must say that was an unlucky bounce, but you were still behind Rob, which means Rob wins immunity and is safe from the vote. Congratulations, Rob, on winning immunity. Guaranteed spot in the final 10. As for the rest of you guys, tribal council tonight where somebody will be the 8th person voted out and the first member of the jury. It will not be you. Alright, grab your stuff about to camp. I'll see you guys tonight. This was a handy win. It's a good win. I've got a 7-person alliance, which I suppose really means I didn't need this, but you never know who has an idol and when they might play it, and who might go home. And that's the beauty of this game. It's unpredictable, so winning immunity challenges is just a sweet relief. However, I don't want to get into a situation where I have an immunity challenge run and then lose and then get voted out, because that happened to me, it happened to Lucas, unfortunately. It never happened to Nick though, because of course it didn't. Hey, congratulations, man. Thank you. Marjorie? Yes. How on earth were you able to throw that so far? Well, back in my day when I was young, I used to play in a women's baseball team. Well, good for you. So I've got a good throwing technique. That block was a little heavy, but you can see that if it wasn't that heavy, you'd be in some serious trouble. Yes. The thing is I've always had the physical capabilities to compete in some challenges. Not in like a 1v1, although I did win one of those. Not in like a challenge where we hold a 10,000 kg block above our head for 6 hours. No, not one of those. I couldn't compete in that. However, I can compete in throwing challenges and stuff like that because I'm good at that stuff. So I think I made a mistake today by doing well in them in today's challenge, because I could be perceived as not only a strategic but maybe even a quite physical threat, and you don't want too many threats, well, targets on your back in general. And yeah, so hopefully it doesn't hurt my game, but it most certainly could. So do we have a name? Yeah, no, I don't really know who to vote for. Look, personally, we have a 7 here, so, and they don't have the idol on that side. I would personally prefer to take out Nick. I mean, yeah, I like the dude a lot, but yeah, strategically I think it makes the most sense. I don't think so, because I think we should take out Mike. Why him? He's not a physical threat, but that's not the point. You know, he wasn't a physical threat in Season 4, but he still won, and the same goes for Georgia. I don't trust Mike, though. I can trust Georgia a little bit, which is probably dumb, but I don't trust Mike at all, because he's somebody that you can easily like. He's likable, and then he just reels you in until you're on his side, and then he either blindsides you or he keeps you around for votes. Jim, just explain what happened to him. So you have this thing called a rock draw. Yes, a rock draw. He completely bamboozled me, and the thing is I agree with Marjorie. If he gets deep into this game, he then continues to just make more moves. I think the earlier the better. Well, yeah, I mean, I get your reasoning, but I mean, personally, I think it's smart to take out a physical threat, especially this early on in the game. I mean, as long as we've got the thought of taking out Mike in the back of our minds, we can eventually just take him out because he's unlikely to win an immunity challenge. So at the moment, the 7-person alliance seems split among 2 players, and that is Mike and Nick. And personally, I would like to take out Nick because I don't view him as a big threat. He is physically strong, which provides cover for me for being a physical threat. However, strategically, it makes sense to keep Mike around because he's a strategic shield over someone like me who's looking to play a more strategic game than last time. But, you know, we don't want to be split the first tribal council. I would like to take out Nick, but if Mike has to go, he has to go. Look, we've got 2 options here. We don't want to be split. I personally think Mike's the way to go, but if Nick needs to go, he needs to go. I just think we're passing up an opportunity to take out Mike early. And if he gets some ground clearance, like you say, if good players get ground clearance, they're hard to stop. I mean, if we can't come up with a decision, do we just take out Josh? Easy vote. Now you're just complicating things with 3 targets. We could take out Georgia. No. We stick with Mike and Nick as our targets. Josh is not a threat, in my opinion. He played an idol, yes, for me, made a big move by taking out Grace. However, outside of that, he's not a threat at all. Like, he has no allies, except for maybe those 3. So it makes sense to take out Mike or Nick, preferably, in my opinion. So the alliance is split, which is not a good sign at all. So I put it upon myself to keep things together. As long as we have 2 targets, from now until Tribal Council, we can narrow it down. You need someone rational here to think about this. I would prefer to take out Mike, however, I see the value in taking out Nick. But if we go 4-3 into Tribal Council split 4-3, then it's not going to work. It's going to crumble before our very eyes, and that's not a good sign. Especially when this alliance should stick together for 1 vote at least. Okay guys, the plan has to be simple. Pick a target, and then flip 2 people. Do we have a target? I think Jessica. I think she's just got every game mode down pretty well. I just think it's just a simple vote we can agree on. It's a big move as well. I'm down, sure. Cool, we'll do Jessica. Now 2 people we need to flip. I can try and get Madison. I think that's the easiest one for me to be able to get. Yeah, this is up to you guys because I'm not going to be any help at all. I mean, we could try and get Marjorie, but I don't believe Marjorie or even Jim would trust or want to work with Mike. So it really comes down to, I could possibly get Rob. I don't think Rob's going to flip though. Why? Because he likes that group. You're better off trying to flip, and this will be difficult, trying to flip Jim, Lexi, or David. Which is the one that you would think would flip? Possibly David? I'll go after David, especially because he had been separated from Jim and Lexi during the tribe swap, so he might be the easiest to flip just because of that. I'm pleasantly surprised at the four-person dysfunctional alliance, I will add, managed to come up with a pretty good attack plan. I mean, think about it. We came up with a pretty easy target, courtesy of me, and came up with 2 targets. Well, to flip, that is, courtesy of me. Well, yeah, it was a discussion, but courtesy of me. And tonight really, well, the plan really hinges on me and Nick. Still courtesy of me. And we need Madison and David to flip. Madison will probably be the easiest one because of the small connection between Nick and Madison, but David will be the hard one, so that's why I put my hand up. Hey Madison. Hey Nick, what do you want? Can we talk? Sure. So I'm just going to come out right and say it. My alliance, the 4 of us, me, Georgia, Mike, and Josh, are voting for Jessica tonight, and I think you should do it with me. Why? Well, the thing is that I think me and you still have a connection, and I would like to share that with you. However, I can't really join that alliance because they possibly view me as a threat, and they probably won't want to work with me. But our side doesn't, and we think, we honestly just think that your wits would fit perfectly with that group. I mean, especially like someone like Mike and Georgia, they would really want to work with you, and I think me and you have a good connection. Huh. Well, you do realize I have a small connection with Jessica, right? Yeah, but so do we. You know, I know it seems like kind of dumb to go from a 7 to a 6, but you need to understand that, you know, that's not part of the game. This is an all-star season, you know. You need to make flashy moves, and I feel like my connection with you would be stronger than your connection with Jessica. Plus, we have that connection from last season as well, still up and running. So, Mike, Georgia, Nick, and Josh are voting for Jessica, one of my allies in this game. Nick wants me to work with him and that alliance to take out Jessica. I see the appeal. However, I gotta remember that, yes, a 7 is bigger than a 6, and I would like to do that. And I like Jessica, I would want to work with her. There's many people on that alliance that I would want to work with, and I think if I flip, I'd be breaking their trust. However, this is ultimately an independent game. You know, you don't make moves for your alliance, you make moves that benefit yourself. Maybe taking out a big threat like Jessica, you know, would be a big move. Taking out a big threat early would be a big move. Good move maybe for me, especially because I might not be the person who's strictly targeted. It might be the people who orchestrated the move on Jessica. So I make this move, there might not be any risk. However, I still really want to work with the girl. David, what do you think of Jessica? I think she's strong and she's smart. And she's quite a nice person, really. What does that sound like to you? A strategic, physical, and social player? Precisely. So I ask you, do you want to play with somebody like that? You're targeting her, right? Yes. Why? Because of those exact reasons. She's strong, she's smart, she's social. I know you're probably working with her, but will your allies really get angry if you told them you took out Jessica because she was a big threat? Look at what your allies have done. They took out Kelly because she was a big threat. They took out other players because they were big threats as well. Everyone takes out the big threats when they need to. Whoever you're voting for, they might be a big threat as well, but I'm telling you at the moment, Jessica is a big threat and not enough people see it. I'm telling you tonight, Jessica is the right move. When you put it like that, it does sound convincing. Tonight I have a difficult choice to make. Do I throw my allies under the bus to take out a big threat in Jessica? Or do I keep things simple and just do either Mike or Nick, depending on which way we're going to go? Well, that's the question. I would like to take out a big threat, and Jessica probably is that threat, according to Georgia, and her reasoning makes sense. However, I'm doing that to my own expense. I have to backstab my own allies who are willing to work with Jessica. Plus, I work with Jessica and Marjorie. So, potentially, the problem with that is that no one will be willing to trust me. However, Georgia is also right that, you know, how will my allies get angry at me if I told them that Jessica was a big threat that I just couldn't play with? I am tempted to take up Jessica, but I know that there's going to be consequences for doing that. And is the consequences worth the reward? Welcome, Mogo Tribe, to your first merged tribal council. So, Mike, the merge is referred to the point where the game really starts to heat up. Do you agree with that analogy? Absolutely, Jeff. There's 11 people on a tribe when it starts, right? So the danger level just increases. You've got 11 of brilliant minds, because we're all stars, and we're all very smart, and we just continue to play harder and harder as the merge goes on, because the risks just become so much bigger. So yes, it's dangerous, it heats up, and pure chaos. So Lexi, I have to ask you, with this being the first merge tribal council, are you worried? Absolutely. I think what Mike just said really sums it up. It's dangerous times to merge, especially the deeper you go into the game. 11 people here is still as dangerous as having 6 people in a tribe, because 6 people in a tribe, especially after in a merge situation, everyone knows basically everyone's game at that point. So you've got to hope that you take out the big threats early, so the people you're playing with at the end either trust you or you're easily beatable. Georgia, this is really the point where you started to pick up your game. Do you think people would just vote you out now so you can't get to that point? Yes, I could potentially see that, but like Mike said, and we've probably said multiple times, we are all All-Stars. So voting me out might sound like, oh, a big move on paper, but however, maybe taking out somebody like, I don't know, like Nick or Josh or David, or I don't know, literally everybody here could be voted for tonight. It just seems the simplest thing. Anybody here could be voted for tonight and it still be considered a big move. So yes, I could be considered the target, but I think that would be dumb because you're discarding every other target here. Rob, how does it feel to have the immunity necklace? Great. Is that the end of that response? Yes. Good, because it's time to vote. David, you'll start us off. Jessica, you are a huge threat, and if David and Madison don't see that, then they've missed an opportunity. Jessica, I don't really care who goes home as long as it's not me. I'll go tally the votes. Alright, if anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. No? Okay. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Jessica. Second vote, Jessica. That's 2 votes Jessica, no votes anybody else. Third vote, Jessica. That's 3 votes Jessica. Fourth vote, Jessica. That's 4 votes Jessica. 7 votes left. Fifth vote, Mike. That's 1 vote Mike. Sixth vote, Mike. That's 4 votes Jessica, 2 votes Mike. Seventh vote, Mike. That's 4 votes Jessica, 3 votes Mike. Eighth vote, Mike. That's 4 votes Mike, 4 votes Jessica, 3 votes left. Ninth vote, Mike. That's 5 votes Mike, 4 votes Jessica, 2 votes left. The 10th vote. And the 8th person voted out, and the first member of the jury, Mike. Damn it, bro. Mike, that's 6, that's enough for tonight. No need to read the last vote. Come bring me your torch. Let me guess, Marjorie. Yes. Good work. Mike, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Well, even though he's gone, he was right. The merge is where the game heats up, and I can only tell that things are about to get smoking. Grab your torches, about to camp. Good night. Honestly, I thought I was going to get voted out like a lot sooner, so this is kind of a surprise.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, it hasn't quite been the game I wanted it to be since, well, the second, tribal council where we voted out Emily. That was a move I assisted in. However, it just wasn't really the same game as New Zealand. I knew I could adapt, and I think that's why I got voted out, is people knew that I would be able to adapt in this circumstance. So they said, we can't let Mike adapt, let's cut him short. And if that's their thinking, then I fully respect that, because that's not a dumb move.
I love this game. I owe a lot to this game. It made me a millionaire. So if people really want it and people really like me, if I get an opportunity again, I will play this game 100%.